Yes, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily, where you subscribe for one video per day demystifying this cryptocurrency market. My name's Austin. In today's video, I want to prepare you for 4 big macro events happening this week that may affect you as a Bitcoin holder. Also, on top of that, we'll be going over the latest altcoin news that you may have missed as an investor. So, like always, drop an emoji down below in the chat. Let me know what you're doing today with an emoji. And let's jump in, starting with what to expect this week. Next week, meaning this current week, is going to be very brutal for crypto. Let's take a look at the many events happening that may influence the crypto market. After we've just had a bit of a relief rally this last week, now crap is actually getting real, as we're going to enter probably one of the worst, or at least the most interesting weeks for the stock market, crypto market, and the world markets in general. So you got to keep an open mind throughout the week and be ready for everything. Here's a list of the most important events. And number 1, it starts on the corporate side. Earnings. A lot of earnings this week. It's earnings season right now at the stock market, and we already had a dull with Snapchat falling 35% and losing billions. Now this week, it's actually getting real with much of the big tech like Apple and Microsoft reporting. Bad will cause stock markets to melt, and with a high correlation, also crypto. So much of big tech reports this week, and did they make a profit? Did they lose money? Obviously, it's not the best quarter for any company out there, and they will report some losses compared to 2021. Now the question is, how bad will the earnings reports be? Snapchat just a few days ago reported their second quarter results earnings, and their shares plunged 25% on top of their already falling shares. So even though disappointing numbers for Q2 was very much expected, as soon as the numbers came out publicly, shares tanked. Of course, that was last week. What to expect this week? Well, we have Apple, we have Microsoft, and now we'll have to wait and see. And while this is an indirect correlation to the crypto market, short term, it is a correlation because, like I said, bad numbers for the stock market does mean potentially bad numbers for crypto in the short term. Now, on the flip side, it doesn't have to be bad. I can see best case maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe those high caps aren't affected. Maybe only the more speculative, lower cap altcoins will be affected. Time will tell. But that was number 1. Moving on to number 2, a second big event happening this week is the FOMC. That means the Federal Reserve is meeting. The Federal Open Market Committee is meeting. Now, we went over this heavily in our video from a few days ago. Bitcoin holders, watch before July 26th. The Federal Reserve is meeting on Tuesday. I would say this is of huge significance to Bitcoin holders, so we'll link down below. Watch this video if you haven't already. But essentially, this meeting, the Fed's meeting, is probably the biggest event of the week where we will actually get a rate hike. Now, whether that's 75 basis points or 100 basis points is yet to be seen, but a 100 basis point rate hike would definitely cause havoc over the markets, as already a 75 basis point rate hike last month did make the markets melt. So last month they had a meeting, the markets dipped when they raised the rates 0.75%. This month, while this is significant, I do think we're in a little bit of a different situation. Because just being real with you, and that's why you subscribe, but just being real, the market reacts negatively the most to uncertainty or unexpected changes. And because we already saw a 75 basis point rate hike last month, and they've pretty much told us expect the same thing this month, this is par for the course in many ways. If/when that happens, people will be like, yeah, that's what we expected. Now, if they choose to go the full 100 basis point rate hike or higher, that's the uncertainty. That would be the unexpected to the negative. Now, inflation was 9.1%, setting record high inflation as per the numbers to last month. So they're definitely going to raise it something. They have to. But this was great perspective. Looking at my video from a few days ago, I always read your comments, and I thought this was interesting perspective. Remember, the Fed goes on holiday after this meeting coming up on Tuesday. So even if we get a dump, expect a pump long-term till at least September/November, their next meeting, unless some sort of black swan event. So much unknown this week. If you agree, if you disagree, give me your thoughts down below. I will be checking your comments for this video as well. But we've gone over one macro event, two macro events. Let's move on to number 3. GDP Q2 numbers, meaning gross domestic product numbers for this quarter. What is GDP? Gross domestic product is the standard measure of the value added created through the production of goods and services in a country during a certain period. And GDP numbers for Q1 were negative. If we could get 2 consecutive GDP numbers down 2 consecutive quarters in a row, that is the definition of a recession. This could be the most important event too, if it's done this week. So no guarantees, but be ready for anything because it is still unclear. It may be the numbers may come out in early August. But if the Q2 numbers, like the Q1 numbers, would be in the minus, then the US would officially be in a recession. And even if most economists already knew that, right, a lot of people are already speculating this, the constant lying from politicians that the economy is great, best economy we've ever had, could have made it unclear for many. Whenever those numbers come out, be ready for volatility. That was number 3. Moving on to number 4 event this week. A recently added event this week is the US deciding whether they should declare a health emergency over monkeypox. Just now, the World Health Organization declared one, and the Biden administration did say to do it Monday. I'm not expecting it to be big news, but certainly some minor panic. And of course, as a Bitcoin holder, just things we need to be aware of. So give me your thoughts on this down below. If you're asking, how does this affect me, what I'm doing based on this news? Well, my strategy, compared to what I shared in prior videos, my strategy really hasn't changed. I like to dollar cost average in to Bitcoin on the way down and take profits on the way up. Some people would say, well, sell. Why wouldn't you sell? You just laid out 4 potentially negative effects for all markets this week. Why not sell and buy back later? Well, it's because we don't know. I would never try and time the market. Again, I like to buy on the way down, take profits on the way up. That's me. And next up, let's go over a few pieces of altcoin news. Polygon readies ZK Rollup testnet as a mainnet launch in 2023. So Polygon ZK EVM, or the team's Ethereum-compatible ZK Rollup, is described as a major leap forward in the world of zero-knowledge technology. And I would say this is equally big for Ethereum as well as Polygon. And this was announced at the Ethereum Community Conference ETHCC in Paris. We touched on this conference in yesterday's video, where ETH scaling tool Polygon announced Polygon ZK EVM. And why is this significant? In a press release, Polygon said ZK EVM would be the first Ethereum equivalent scaling solution that works seamlessly with all existing smart contracts, developer tools, and wallets, harnessing advanced cryptography called zero-knowledge proofs. And just to clue everybody in, what are rollups and what is this rollup? Rollups, like Polygon ZK EVM, are the main way the Ethereum community is working to boost the network's capabilities, allowing users to transact quickly and cheaply without compromising the network's most essential security guarantees. So if you hold Polygon, you like this, expect the testnet to be released sometime this summer, and then they're eyeing a mainnet launch in 2023. Bullish. And next up, a huge update for Voyager, which recently declared bankruptcy, became insolvent. FTX to offer early liquidity to customers of bankrupt crypto lender Voyager. And just as a reminder in terms of what happened, the joint proposal comes just 2 weeks after Voyager filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and as you may remember, Alameda Ventures, which is a company controlled by FTX's CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, had previously given a loan of $200 million in cash, USDC, and 15,000 Bitcoins to Voyager, yet they still somehow wound up bankrupt, which of course hurt the customers, because everybody who had money in the Voyager platform may not get that back. That is until Voyager just announced they are working with a company called West Realm Shires to allow Voyager customers to create new accounts on FTX and a potential solution if you lost your money. Voyager customers who take the offer will have an opening cash balance funded by an early distribution on a portion of their bankruptcy claims. They would be able to withdraw the cash immediately or use it to purchase digital assets on FTX. Voyager customers won't be required to participate in the plan. So what this is saying is, if you lost your Bitcoin, and we still need more details, and this isn't happening yet, but sometime in August, if you lost your Bitcoin, you can open an account on FTX and you can immediately get a portion of that cash back and choose to just keep the cash or purchase whatever digital assets you want on the FTX exchange. And why does this say you won't be required if you are part of Voyager? You won't be required to participate in the plan. Why wouldn't you want to participate in this plan? Well, we need more details, but maybe this would invalidate you from, we don't know how Voyager's bankruptcy will go yet and how much money they'll end up having for their customers who lost the funds. So this would be sort of a bet that, hey, I just want to cut my losses, get a portion of it back now. I don't want to have to wait for that bankruptcy hearing. In a direct quote from Sam Bankman-Fried, the goal of our joint proposal is to help establish a better way to resolve an insolvent crypto business, a way that allows customers to obtain early liquidity and reclaim a portion of their assets without forcing them to speculate on bankruptcy outcomes and take one-sided risks. I still have more questions. I still need more details. But FTX does plan to complete this transaction in early August. So we will get more details then. I will keep you updated. That is the video. My name's Austin. Like always, see you tomorrow. Gonna be a hell of a week. See you tomorrow.